Jim McClafferty, who's the founder and president of Brain Parade, and Stephanie O'Brien, who's also with us, joining us, and she is a BCABA and somebody who has more than 12 years of experience working directly with children on the autism spectrum. So first of all, I want to welcome both of you and say how excited we are that you're here and how excited we have been about this app. We're just so glad that you have the opportunity to be with us today. So first of all, welcome. And and then I want to start out by, Jim, talking to you about this. This is a passion of yours. This is something that you have been working on for quite a while, melding technology and education. And I'd love for you to tell us why that's such a passion and why that turned into Brain Parade.
Well, thanks for having us on. Really excited to be here. My background has always been in technology. I was that kid who, when my mom would come home, I would have taken the telephone apart or the stereo, and she'd be in a panic, and then I'd put it back together. So I've always been a lover of technology, and in my various roles in corporate America, my responsibility tended to be to look at the next generations of technology and see what it meant to the business. About 4 years ago, I decided I wanted to do something a little more meaningful. The way I described it to my wife is I want to put my head on my pillow at night and feel like I did something that was meaningful, and I felt really good about it. And I set out to see where there was an opportunity for some new technology to make inroads in areas that had been underserved. And it was a conversation I had with a friend who had a special needs child, and she was talking about how antiquated the technology was in her child's school. And I put two and two together. I grabbed an iPad, I grabbed some graph paper and some pencils and started to come up with an application that I thought would make a big impact. And I approached it from the technology side, and I partnered with Stephanie on the subject matter expertise, domain expertise side, and See.Touch.Learn was born.
Well, and it's remarkable. I've been saying all week long, visually, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. But Stephanie, talk to us a little bit about it, because you've got experience working with individuals who are on the autism spectrum. You've worked extensively in this field. Tell us a little bit about See.Touch.Learn and why it is so exciting and so effective with our kids who are on the spectrum.
Well, what I really liked about the whole concept from the beginning was not having to carry around my picture boxes anymore, losing pictures when I went from house to house or school to school, or having to leave a list for that consultant or the parent to go around, like you were saying, and take pictures of the grocery store, take pictures of McDonald's, find their community helpers, take pictures of them. It really eliminated all of that for me, and I could just have all my picture cards on the iPad, and just having the iPad itself going into homes or into schools with the kids was almost like an automatic pairing activity for me. So I would just walk in with the iPad, and the students would just come right over to me and want to know what I had. So I had my own pictures on See.Touch.Learn of things that I knew the students liked, like Barney or Mario Brothers or something like that. So I could immediately start to incorporate the picture cards that I had made in See.Touch.Learn and begin doing trials as a pairing activity, and the students were already engaged. So I didn't have to lug around my bags anymore, and I had everything that any student that I was going to see that day needed right away.
It's remarkable. And for those of you who are watching who are doing ABA and you understand the value of stimuli, that you're showing a picture and teaching a wide variety of things, you get it. You understand how much time you can save if this is all in one place. And I mentioned before we got to this segment how customizable you guys have made this, which is really incredible. And I love the fact that there is a community feature so that not only can you be sharing things with people, but you can take things that they have shared and put them into your programs so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And as I was saying to them before they came on, I was the mom who was running around town taking a picture of every single grocery store, so that when we talked about all the different grocery stores with my son and said, you know, which store do you want to go to, that there was a picture that he could point to. And I used to think, isn't this terrible that I've spent 2 hours doing this and nobody else can benefit from it? You guys have harnessed that. And you've harnessed it in a beautiful package that is technology so that the kids do scurry over and want to take a look at it. So I got to hand it to you. Really, really remarkable, super duper smart. And I do want to say, for people who have not yet started any kind of an ABA program, this is the hugest gift to you. I used to say to parents, on your must-have things that you've got to have when you're starting ABA, you have to get a digital camera and you have to have a 1-hour photo place that's somewhere close by, because you're going to end up taking pictures of things and needing a 1-hour photo. But I can tell them now they don't need that anymore. They need to get See.Touch.Learn. And that's an amazing thing. And by the way, it's less expensive than the digital camera. So pretty incredible. So often I found when I was having to take the pictures myself, it's really hard to isolate an item to show just that when you're teaching and to get it absolutely clear. And you guys have given us a library of very clear, beautiful, specific photos, so that we're not having a problem with what we're teaching, that there's something in the background. But again, we have to say that you've added that when people are able to take clear pictures for themselves, they can upload it to the site if they choose to and share with other members. So there is a humongous amount of material to be able to pick from to populate a lesson. So Jim and Stephanie, talk to us a little bit about because one of the things that just really blew my doors off was how you can create a lesson and you can customize absolutely everything in this. So talk to us a little bit about why you chose to do that and how incredible that can be for a family that's working on autism.
Absolutely. One of the things that you touched on is we made a decision right out of the gate that we were going to use real images as opposed to illustrations. So there's over 4,400 images in there, and you can see that they're all high resolution, good quality images that we reviewed to make sure that they were the best that you could use to cover as many subjects as possible. But we also added the capability so that you can add your own images for specific situations like you described, and one that Stephanie dealt with where one of her students was going to be celebrating his bar mitzvah. So they used specific pictures that would help him prepare for that. But we also have the community where you can share content with others. So one of the first things we did when the community was up there, we have U.S. currency. Somebody went and put Canadian currency up there. Somebody put euros. So great opportunities for people to share specific different types of content that are available that might not be available to you easily. So great opportunities there.
So let's talk about, is this something that's just for a parent? Or I thought you mentioned also schools being able to use this as well.
So there are 3 versions of the application. There's a free edition, which gives you a sample set and lets you experiment and try before you buy. And with that, you can buy individual libraries. Then there's the Pro Edition, which includes all of the libraries, all 4,400 pictures and 2,000 exercises, and access to the community. That's currently $34.99, and that's for more of a professional user. And then the Site Edition, which is designed for schools with 10 or more users, where they can share content privately with each other, and there's some data collection capabilities there as well. But it's designed to be used by the parent, by the professional, and by the institution. There's different flavors, and we've seen it successfully used. There's over 450,000 downloads since the product's been out there, so it's pretty popular. And
what are you hearing from people about that are using this? What are you hearing from them?
So I'm going to let Stephanie answer that, but I'm going to give you one quote that I got, which just sends chills up my spine every time I hear it. A grandmother told me a story. She sent us an email and told us a story about how she was walking out of a Walmart into the parking lot with her grandson. Her grandson looked up at the moon and said, "Moon." And he never spoke without being prompted before. The grandmother was absolutely floored, and it turned out that in school that week they were using See.Touch.Learn to teach him about the planets.
Wow.
That just gives me goosebumps every time I tell that story.
Wonderful. So you can put your head on the pillow and know that you're doing something incredible every night.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Okay, so, and Stephanie, tell us a little, what are you hearing back from people who are using it?
What I hear hear from parents or similar stories being able to customize lessons for students. The libraries that come with See.Touch.Learn have multiple examples of animals, but then teachers are able to take a picture of their own pet and parents are able to take a picture of their own pet at the house so the students can identify their own dog or their own cat in the category of cats and dogs. As far as in school, it's been really nice for teachers to use See.Touch.Learn to help review lessons or to help review field trips. I had a teacher that went to the pumpkin patch with their students in October, and when they were on the field trip, she took all kinds of pictures, and on the bus ride back to the school, she created lessons to review what they did first, what they did second, and what was their last activity. So it was a very nice lesson to do once they were back in the classroom and they could review their trip, and then she could also sort of web off onto other objectives that each student was working on at the time. So she could use the same pictures and put them into the students' own lessons when they were doing ABA.
I gotta say, as a former teacher, the ability to customize and make my own lesson is so innovative and unique to your program and exciting. And pairing that with being able to access all the gorgeous pictures that you guys have used and the community on top of that, you've done something really remarkable here.